Whoa, man, I cannot believe that Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas are coming out to the new consoles gonna be remastered. Whoa there, Jimmy, you might want to hold your horses a little bit. Why the advertising of the Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition might be a little bit misleading. They might be doing a few anti-consumer things. Let's talk about it.
Here we go again.
Hello there, guys. This is Solid Shepherd bringing you another video. And as I said in the intro, we're here talking about Rockstar Games announcing the Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy. Now, at first glance, this seems like it should be an absolute win, right? So we have Grand Theft Auto 3, the game that revolutionized open worlds. We have Vice City, which was a really, really popular middle ground. And then you had San Andreas, who you could argue was just as influential as 3 was, if not more, adding so much stuff you can do in the world, kind of adding that thing in Grand Theft Auto games where nowadays you can like go on the internet and dating apps and stuff in the game. San Andreas was the first game to really play around with stuff like that, like extras in the game. So on Rockstar Games' Twitter page, you see the initial tweet here with the little video. I'm not going to play the audio. You can go watch it yourself. And then right under it, Rockstar tweets out, "In honor of the upcoming anniversary today, we are excited to announce that all 3 games will be coming to current generation platforms later this year in Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition." They really like the "thes." There's 2 thes there. You have a little picture here, like cover art basically. "We'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the Grand Theft Auto fans who have supported the games over the past 2 decades. In addition to carving a new path for the open world genre, Grand Theft Auto 3 established Grand Theft Auto as a cultural phenomenon, alongside its 2 subsequent and equally legendary entries in the series, Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Later this month marks a very special anniversary for Rockstar Games, 20 years since the original release of Grand Theft Auto 3. So we know that they're doing this for the 20th anniversary, right? And then they just kind of, these tweets seem like, there's nothing special about them, right? They're just kind of doing jargon speak, whatever, corporate speak, trying to get you excited for the game. But let's dive into it a little bit. Most people are kind of excited about this because they're thinking, it's going to at least be a remaster, right? At least like upgraded textures and all that. Well, obviously it'll probably be playing in 4K. As far as the actual graphics in the game, we're probably looking at it's going to be about the same. It's going to be the same textures. Nothing's going to be updated other than the resolution, which is more of a TV thing, right? It's the way your TV's capturing it with the pixels on the TV. Yeah, consoles in order to output to that resolution have to have more hardware, but at the end of the day, it's really just the sharpness of the picture. It's not the actual graphics themselves. So let's see here. See the way they word everything, right? So we have a video that has just the original artworks, the original like loading screen stuff. So down here on the next tweet, "In honor of the upcoming anniversary, today we are excited to announce that all 3 games will be coming to current generation platform later this year in Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition." You see, Definitive Edition doesn't necessarily mean remaster or whatever. Doesn't mean upgraded textures or anything. It just means like it's the definitive, like everything's in one. Like you have other video games. Definitive Edition is basically the same thing as the Game of the Year editions for games. They're basically like everything is all in one package. So that doesn't mean any remaster, right? And just the way that they're wording this, in honor of the upcoming anniversary, okay, so we're doing this for the anniversary. We're breaking all this down. Today we are excited to announce that all 3 games will be coming to current generation platforms. Okay, so it's coming to the current generation platforms. Problem is like on Xbox, and at least Xbox, you can just play your original version later this year in Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition. So we still have no mention. It's almost like they're skirting around it, right? In addition to carving a new path for the open world genre, Grand Theft Auto 3 established Grand Theft Auto as a cultural phenomenon alongside its 2 subsequent and equally legendary titles. So it's just talking about how legendary these games were, the old ones were, and then talking about the 20-year anniversary. That's it. So you notice how they kind of skirted around that? There's nothing that says it's a remaster. I think this is going to be like a Mario All-Stars kind of situation, and they're literally just going to put the original versions of these 3 games together on here. But we'll get more to that in a minute. So PlayStation, they were advertising it as well. I'm not going to look up the Xbox one. To any fanboys, I have a Series X. I don't have a PS5. I do have a PS4, but like I'm not a fanboy. I've just Xbox and PlayStation are generally going to say the same thing. So celebrate the 20th anniversary of GTA 3 with a trip to Liberty City, Vice City, and San Andreas in Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the definitive edition, coming to PS4 and PS5 later this year. So once again, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary. So it's talking about the cities this games take place in. The definitive edition, which once again does not mean fidelity or anything. It just means that everything's in one. So we still have nothing really about whether it's going to be a remaster or not, whether they're upgrading anything, making any relevant changes. So now I want to bring your attention to one paragraph, one part of this Forbes article, where it says, perhaps the most controversial part of this announcement is the fact that Rockstar has announced that it is going to be deleting, it's going to be removing the original versions of the 3 games from all available storefronts, so with digital storefronts, as soon as next week to pave the way for the release of the remasters. This has thrown us into yet another debate about the performance of digital products. Though in this case, it's a store delisting, it's not being erased from your hard drives. Still, players wonder if they could end up preferring the OG versions of the games more than the remasters. They're assuming it's a remaster with all the changes, and if you do, there will now be literally no way to go back and purchase them. So I think Forbes has it wrong here. Why? If these were different versions of these games, why would they feel the need to remove the older versions? That doesn't make sense. They're different versions. So if we go through this, we're going to ignore the part where they're assuming it's a remaster, because I don't think it is. We go through this. Perhaps the most controversial part, right, of this announcement. So first of all, they're gonna make it too expensive. It's gonna be like at least $40, if not $60, to buy this compilation, whereas you could probably get all 3 of them for like $20 altogether. Cheaper than that if it's on sale. Just buying them individually. Don't quote me on that, I've not looked that up, but you know, obviously they're really, really old games. 3 is a 20-year-old game, which by the way, it's coming out on mobile too, so they're going to be removing the mobile version, they're going to be removing the PlayStation version, they're going to be removing the Xbox version, they're going to be removing the PC versions of all these old games to quote-unquote pave the way. So Rockstar, like I just said, has announced it is going to be deleting the OG versions of the 3 games, all available storefronts as soon as next week. So if you want these original versions, I suggest you go and get them now. So this pave the way is interesting. This is thrown into yet another debate of, whatever digital products. Obviously they can't. All the rest of this is kind of irrelevant. Why would they delete the old versions if these new ones were better versions? Looked better? Had any kind of meaningful changes to the gameplay or features? If it's a better version, then it's not in direct competition. People who are fans of Grand Theft Auto that have the older versions would also want to have this version. Which, it's a shady, it's really shady. It looks really shady, and it really makes me think that this is nothing special. They literally just took the code of 3 PS2 games, are going to throw it together, and going to make you pay either like $40 or $60 for it. And be like, look at our awesome anniversary celebration. So yeah, the 2 sources of news, they kind of skirt around. They don't want to, they're kind of skirting around it. They're not verifying it's a remaster. If you want to get people excited, why would you not just come out and say it's a remaster? And on top of that, so that's the first news, that it might very well not be a remaster. And then there's another piece of news in this video basically talking about how if you want to get the original versions, you better get them now. Like digitally, you better get them now because they're about to be gone. And that also ties into the first one. Why would they even be doing that if it was actually a remaster? I'm telling you now, this is not a remaster. They are throwing the original versions of the games, and then they're going to allow the resolution to be at 4K. It'll be 4K 60 FPS. But anyone who games on PC could tell you, like if you're a console gamer, you're like, oh, well, that's an upgrade. No, it's not. For you maybe, but you're paying for something that is free on PC, because on PC, the second you have better hardware that can run better frame rates and better resolutions, you can just do it with the original version, which by the way, on PC, this is affecting those PC gamers too. These original versions are gonna be gone. Now if you want it, you gotta pay like an upcharged version basically. That's BS. Don't get excited for this. Rockstar needs to come out. Before you get excited for this, Rockstar needs to come out and say they're changing something meaningful in these games. And even see, this is the other thing, because what I was about to say is they need to come out and say that they're changing something meaningful for these games to justify buying these games over their original version. But that's exactly why they're removing the original version, so that's not an issue. This is like EA levels of anti-consumerism, and I just really had to make a video about it. These are my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope I'm wrong on this, but all signs point towards this is just a quick cash grab, hoping people are they're pinning their hopes that their consumers, that their fans are completely stupid, basically. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you're enjoying my content, please consider liking and subscribing for future videos. Until next time, this has been Solid Shepherd, and I should go.